I hate to say it, welcome to fall, huh?
Not yet. That's the 21st.
I understand that.
Technically.
Or you wouldn't know on this blistering day of summer.
Yeah. I can tell you, you knew it on Monday, it was Labor Day, and 3/4 of the boats were already off the river, so. It was kind of like they packed up. Privilege of the floor, we have no one here at this time. We have minutes from our last meeting. Is there any additions and or corrections?
No, sir.
Motion and a second to accept.
I'll make a motion to accept as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries, thank you. Treasurer's report.
Page 5 of your packets. And easier to predict when you only have 1 month left. We had $85,000 to the current year-to-date total. Looks like we'll potentially be a little bit higher on the revenue side than what was projected. We have $78,000 remaining to gain, and if we gain $85,000, I guess we're plus $6,500. Simple math.
Yeah.
That's if things remain linear, which the world is not a linear place. Operational expenses, again, looking at it, unless there's something extraordinary, Lyle, it looks like we'll finish between
I don't
930 and
anticipate
950.
anything, yeah.
So I'm kind of just saying between 930 and 950. So all totaled, taking that, it looks like we'll be 100 to 125,000 profit. Well, revenue over expenses, I guess we can't call it profit.
Yeah, no.
The pages 6, 7, and 8 are just blow-ups of the ag, manufacturing, and marketing program expenses. They're already kind of covered on the first page, so we won't go through those in detail. Page 9 is the balance sheet. Cash equivalents, quick assets, we're about 45,000 lower than prior month. We're 402,000 lower than we were at the start of the year. With regards to our total current assets. Our total current assets are 23,000 lower than the prior month. Total assets are about 26,000 lower than the prior month. Total liabilities are down 39,000 from the prior month. Total capital is up 14,000 from the prior month. Page 10 of your packet, just giving us a blow up of all the different loan commitments and receivables as they stand up there. It's a very helpful table. We have about a $27,000 higher balance of money that is yet to come in for those. So with that, that's the treasurer's report. I move to accept as presented.
I'll move it.
Do we have any questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries, thank you. Moving right along.
Okay,
Loan review.
me again still. Committee report, loan review. We had an August meeting. We had one application. Since there's no public here, I'll assume it's a fair statement. We asked for AYDM to show up at this meeting, our loan review meeting, fairly ambivalent. We had more questions than answers. We recommended to push this to the full board with no recommendation because of more questions than answers. I don't know if we reached out to the applicant to come and.
Mr. Devereaux,
So
Here, yes.
they're just not here yet.
Yeah,
They're-
He's in a
they're-
waiting
called in.
area.
So they're down further in this, on the agenda?
No,
I guess
It's
they
just
would-
under loan review, so you can call him right now
Okay,
if you
so
want.
you could,
Yeah,
I
I-
would think they'd be under unfinished business, okay.
Yeah.
Since it's out of loan review, that's why I assumed you weren't here, my apologies.
No,
I should have
there-
asked that question. So, it's
The- the-
self-explanatory, there was a lot of questions, and I don't know if there's some questions before we call the applicant in, and then turn the meeting back over to Dave to lead, and get it out of.
I'm looking at page 10 of the report. So their monthly payment to us is $11.69 now.
That's correct, yes.
And they're looking for interest only?
For 6 months, yes. Now, see, ours is the smallest portion of it, Paul. Savings Bank is involved and North
Do you know what their
Country
monthly
Bank.
is to Watertown Savings Bank?
Pretty substantial. I don't know if I have that here or not.
Rough idea there.
I'd say about 18,000.
About it, yes,
I'm just
it's-
doing 10% of their loan balance, just as a
Yeah.
rough.
That's, I think it was around 15,
Okay.
as I recall it.
And they're looking for 6 months interest only, if
Yeah.
I recall correct.
Yeah. I believe the Savings Bank may have already approved it. They were inclined to. And speaking with Michelle at Dank, they were inclined to approve it too.
So one question to ask is after 6 months, are they gonna, is 6 months gonna put them in a position to go back to full payments?
They've indicated that it does cash flow properly. They just need some money for taxes, the school tax.
I'll we ask Mr. Jabron to come in and he can answer some of the questions for us.
Okay?
Back to you,
I spoke with them yesterday, and they indicated that they would prefer to do this in executive session because of some proprietary financial information.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Galvarone. Morning.
Good morning.
What virtual guy will, yeah, so do it. Now, let me just pull a chair around next to David. You could face the music. Yeah. Maybe a little bit of background for the board that maybe you may not know. Mr. Galvarone stepped up to the plate very early in a very convoluted process to try to build housing for Fort Drum. The community was up against a rock and a hard place. We had soldiers being bused to Syracuse, and the Army was very, very concerned about housing. And so the community, including this agency, launched an effort to try to build that housing, and we sought developers. We put some financing on the table. We did a lot of things which this agency hadn't been accustomed to doing, first of all, because we're not typically involved in housing. But at the same time, we certainly did do whatever we possibly could to stimulate that development. And so when Mr. Jallarone and his father came talking about the possibility of building housing, we frankly twisted his arm and others to try to get some numbers to report to Fort Drum. Mr. Jallarone was one of the first to step up to the plate and try to get that project built. And so those of us who went through that, those dire circumstances, because there was a lot of threats coming from Washington about housing, and we couldn't respond, we were in trouble. And so we are thankful for Mr. Jallarone and his participation. Okay, so that's a little background. I've kind of laid you out as being a saint. I doubt that's true, but in any event, the board had some questions, so.
Sure. Wow, was there a request to go into executive session?
There was, that, I would have to make it, I can't.
We need to do it now if
There is no-
We go into
there's-
executive session to discuss the.
Personal financials.
You might, in case they walk in, whatever.
Do we have a second? Favor aye?
All right.
We're into executive session.